You can tell a lot about your girl by watching her watch the show Snapped on the Oxygen Channel. There's a show called Snapped, and it's about women who murder men. And it's been on 11 years. People love it. They can't get enough of it. It's syndicated, right? And it's narrated by a woman, and there's kind of an understanding vibe to the whole crime. If there was a show about men who exclusively murdered women, it would be called Monster. Immediately canceled. This show's called Snapped. Like, what are you, perfect? Some of the murders I understand. You know, if a woman's abused, she has no way out. There's justifiable kills. You know, there's like a dude and his chick, and he's abusive, and they're standing by a cliff, and it's her birthday, and he's on Tinder, you know, and she just pushes him. I'm like, yeah, nice. That's a good kill. I'm like, I hate that guy. I'm glad he's dead. But most of them are not like that. They're like, Tina had to move to a new city because Brian got a job, and she missed her mother. So she filled that void with online gambling, and it took over her life because she was forced to move. So instead of facing that she had lost their home because she was full of shame, she shot him in the head while he was asleep. And I'm like, Jesus! And I look at my wife, and she's like, that's what happens. And I'm like, you think that's a justifiable kill? She's like, she felt alone, like she had needs, like she missed her mother. Like, you don't miss your mother? I'm like, okay, listen, once you get married, you're like, I'm gonna be with this woman for the rest of my life. But I also like life, like I wanna live. So I have to figure out how to not die. And I cracked the code. No one's right or wrong. I don't like the gender war. You know, I don't like where it's like, you guys are wrong, or you're wrong. No one's wrong, you just communicate differently, and that's why there's so much tension. Men love orders. When you tell us what to do, we're pumped, because we're task-oriented. You know, men love, because we don't make life. We just kind of stand around and wait for someone to be like, can you give me a hand with the couch? I'm like, goddamn right I can, you know? And we feel like a man, you know? Women are the exact opposite. They don't like orders. I'll give you some examples. So we're sitting on our couch, and my wife just goes, it's really cold in here. And I was like, I know. And then I went back to thinking about why glue doesn't stick to the inside of the bottle. Like, I was pretty far down this conundrum, you know? I'm like, I have no idea. How is it liquid? It makes no sense to me. Out of the corner of my eye, she's like, and the chattering gets pretty loud, you know, but it's involuntary. It's not her fault. That's how your body reacts to cold, but it's distracting. So I turn the TV up to drown it out. Eventually she gets up, grabs a blanket. In my head, I'm like, nice, that's what I do, you know? And then I'm back to my thoughts. And then about an hour later, she's like, do you even love me? Okay, at this point, I don't know what she's talking about. So I react the way all men will react forever, with a face that's like, what the hell are you talking about? You know, and then you start arguing, but no one knows what you're arguing about. I'm like, why do you say crazy stuff? It's like, it's not crazy that I have needs and you don't listen. I don't know what she's talking about. So what I'm trying to say is, fellas, don't leave your girl for saying crazy stuff, because there's nowhere to go. They all do it. Every single girl does that. Like, you can't be like, my girl's crazy, I gotta leave. It's like, so's the next one. So's the next one. So's the next one. Just find one and figure it out. You know, like, leaving your girl because she says crazy shit is like moving because your house has gravity. You think there's options? And then something magical happens when you stay. You realize they're not actually crazy. They just think that an observation is an order. And it's not to us. Like, a woman says it's cold in here, they think that they're giving us an order and that we're supposed to be like, what makes cold? And then we're crack the code like we're Sherlock Holmes. You know, it's like, I'll figure out what makes cold. I'll figure out what she wants. No, we don't think that way. You say it's cold in here, we just register it as like, yeah, I hear you. You got to say what you want and we'll do it. Women have more power than they can possibly imagine. They don't wield it most of the time. I have female friends that are like, my husband never does blah, blah, blah. He never moves his shoes. And I'm like, have you told him to do it? She's like, no, he should know. Like, he doesn't. He has no idea. he's trying to figure out glue. Like, ladies, if you're like, baby, will you give me a blanket? A guy's like, is that what you need? You want a blanket? Because I can provide that. And now you're on a mission. You're like, winter's coming. You know, you feel like a warrior. Then you go to the blanket area, you're like, what's the best one? That's my favorite. I hope she likes it. This is awesome. Then you come back and you put it around your girl, and then you just look at her. And this is all we want in return. We're just like, did I do good? And she's like, yeah, baby, you make me so warm. You're such a man. I'm like, I knew it. I'm a man. I'm a fucking man. And then we feel like we have a purpose in life. And women are the exact opposite. They want to love you. They're very loving. They want to fuck you. They're horny as hell. Dying to fuck you. Unless you tell them to, then they no longer want to. It's the exact opposite. Ha 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 ha. I'll give you some scenarios. You come home from a bad day. Your girl's there, you're like, hey baby, I had a bad day. Don't say one more word to her, not one more word. Just look at her and find a window to look out of. She'll notice you, that space lets her love. She's like, he can't even talk, he had such a bad day. He works so hard, I love him so much. I want to help him. That's what happens in their mind when you give them space. That's when they say, give me space, like legit do it. Because then they'll do cool shit. Because then they'll do stuff that you didn't even know you liked. Like my wife, like one time was like, I'm going to make him hot cocoa. He loves that. I'm still thinking about the glue, looking out the window. So she's like, brings over her cocoa. She's like, here baby, have some hot cocoa. Tomorrow's going to be better. And I'm like, how'd you know I like this? I didn't even know I like this. And she's like, because you're my hot cocoa. And I'm like, you're my little brown hot cocoa. Because she's Mexican, so, I'm like, you're brown. And then she starts rubbing my hammer. And before you know it, I'm inside of her, pounding cocoa, just, I give her a little taste, I take a taste, she's my little baby bird, then I'm the big bird. Okay, here's another scenario that's a lot more probable. That doesn't happen. I've never fucked with cocoa one time in my life. You come home, you're like, hey baby, I had a bad day. Make me some cocoa. Look at them, they're already mad. Did you feel that? Did you feel that? It was like a tide. It's just like, you think that's my job? You think that's my job to make you cocoa? I'm an engineer, you're a fucking clown. What, did Panisse not kill tonight, clown? It's a true story. I'm like, that is your job, and so's this. Then I take out my beautiful cock. And I'm like, looks like someone's working a double shift. It's time to clock in. At that point, she'll take the cocoa, she'll burn my cock with it. Now I have no cocoa, no cock. I become my own Snapped episode, and women around the world go, that's what happens. Thank you.